Newstalk ZB.
Newstalk ZB, it is 10:07. Kerre Woodham with you through until midday. And I'm joined this hour, as I mentioned, by Antonia Watson, ANZ CEO. And a very good morning to you, Antonia.
Good morning, Kerre. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely fine. You are going to take questions on banking-related matters. You don't necessarily just need to hear from ANZ customers.
Nope.
No. Banking-related matters. You can text through your question now on 9292, or you can call on 0800 80 10 80. There's a lot to cover off. Maybe we'll talk about the capital gains tax. You made quite a few ripples when you thought that the time had arrived for a capital gains tax on realised gains in 2024. Do you still believe that? Do you still maintain that now?
It's no one was more surprised than me about the ripples, and what I was responding to was a question about, do you support a wealth or a capital gains tax?
Yeah.
And I do not support a wealth tax. A tax on money that people don't have in the bank is not fair. I've traditionally not supported capital gains for two reasons: very complex, high compliance costs. You know, lots of works for accountants and lawyers. I can say that. I was an accountant.
Yeah.
But I think as time has moved on and you think about it from an economic sense, it's fair. It is fair to tax people on all forms of income.
Including the profits they may make on a family home or just on investment property?
I think investments, not just property, but family home is very traditionally carved out because you still need to buy a new home in the same market, so you can't take a haircut on a home when you sell it.
Yeah. So it would only be investments, but investments across the board?
Yeah, I think so.
What about businesses?
That's really complex, and that's what I mean about it. It's complex, but a big part of my retirement savings will be earnings from income that I've been taxed on. A big part of my parents' retirement savings was selling a business. Yeah. So you do need to think about things equitably, I think. It doesn't mean I have the solutions. I think actually it's way more than capital gains. We need to think about our tax system across the board and the looming ageing population. There's a lot of things. I think just an honest I don't have the answers. I just think an honest conversation it would be a good thing to have.
People are really resistant to seeing a cut to their super. I've noticed on this show. You know, people are I haven't got the super yet. I'm a few years away, but if I don't need it, why would I apply for it?
I guess if you don't need it, the reason you'd apply for it is that you would think that you could spend the money better than the government. And I think that's a fair thing for people to think.
Like you could make a donation in your own way.
I guess. But again, I think that there are going to be 2 working New Zealanders for every 1 superannuitant in the not too distant future. I think it's in 2040,
and there used to be 4 or 5, didn't
yes.
there?
And so that's a lot. If you think about your children and your grandchildren, that's a lot of pensioners they will be supporting in the future. And, that something needs to be thought about in that context.
Well, it has in terms of the superannuation fund, which is coming up to what they say $100 billion.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that's a phenomenal amount of money. Is that going to be enough to offset the costs?
Based on the demographic, look, I'm no expert, but at least we've got that, and the super fund's done a terrific job of stewarding those assets over a number of years.
We've also got the health costs because it's not just the super, is it? So, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? But I guess when you are the CEO of a bank and you do make a call on that, it is going to get attention. I mean, if you're one of your amazing tellers, it wouldn't have got quite the same attention. The CEO of a bank, it will.
Yes, and interestingly, it was she's just playing her own book because that's good for the bank, and I'm thinking, I'm not sure that's how it's good for the bank. But that was my personal view, to be really clear. That was my personal view. We don't, as an organisation, take views on tax.
And speaking of the organisation, big job cuts in Australia, 3,500 jobs, 1,000 contractors to drive efficiencies. There'll be some nervousness among your staff, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Times of change are always generate nervousness. We've been very clear with our staff here that the simplification and the complexity that's being addressed in Australia isn't a factor here. We're doing no significant, above. We're always looking at our business for efficiencies, all that sort of thing, but we're doing nothing that isn't usual at the moment, and there's no plans to. But in Australia, and it's a really tough time for our colleagues over there, and I think our staff here would have a lot of empathy for them, because times of uncertainty are hard work.
Have you done the cuts already? Have you made the efficiencies already? The major ones you need to do? Were Australia lagging behind a bit?
Well, we've run a tight ship over a number of years. What's happened in Australia is that they have been building new technology. They've also had an acquisition of the Suncorp Bank. So there's work to do to bring all that together. And naturally, when you have a bigger bank, you can run it a bit more efficiently as well. So it's just decomplexify. I don't know what that word is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And making sure that there aren't too many people in head office generating work that isn't important for making the ship go faster. And when you look at our Australian domestic business compared to, say, our New Zealand and our institutional businesses, it has underperformed our peers, and we don't want to be in that position. It's good to know that you're a winning bank.
Michael, you have a question for Antonia?
Yes, good morning. Thanks, Antonia. Just a simple question here, talking with regards to capital gains tax. Can you tell me, or what do you think and feel regarding capital gains tax being introduced, but would it be introduced and backdated? For example, if somebody bought a house, an investment property 3 or 4 years ago or 5 years ago, would the capital gains tax kick in from then? Or would it be a line in the sand going forward to charge capital gains tax on new properties from a given date going forward?
That's a really good question, and I think it's something that would need to be discussed. But when I go back to one of the issues with capital gains tax being the complexity, if you backdated that would drive an enormous amount of complexity. So one thing you could definitely do to make it simpler is have a date from now on, and then at least everyone knew, with certainty what they're getting into.
What the rules were. Absolutely. We'll take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment, talking perhaps mortgage stress, the housing market as well in terms of assistance to borrowers, and the green loans as well, because I had a number of farmers who, with the increased payout, were going to take advantage of the green loans to green up their farms. So we'll be back in a moment. 0800 80 10 80 if you wish to put your question to Antonia Watson, ANZ CEO, who'll be with me through until 11.
From breaking news to expert opinions, it's all here. Play Newstalk ZB on iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
Can't poo? Spending too much time on the loo? Here's some great news. Introducing Caruso's Poo Well. Caruso's Poo Well is a unique herbal and fibre formula containing cascara, yellow dock, fennel and green banana powder. These help to support regular and comfortable bowel motions, bowel evacuation and abdominal bloating. So if you can't poo and you're fed up with spending too much time in the loo, try Caruso's Poo Well. Available from Chemist Warehouse. Read the label, use only as directed. Caruso's Health Sydney.
Make your home not just move-in ready, but turnkey fresh with Carpet Country's latest amazing deal. Wool carpet, nylon carpet, polyester carpet, all at the same price. Just $22 per square metre. 12 colours available to suit every style. Don't miss this outrageous deal. Wool, nylon or polyester carpet at only $22 per square metre. Only while stocks last. Carpet Country, 43 Car Road, Mount Roskill.
The best in the carpet country.
Home. It's more than just a place. It's a feeling, a sense of belonging where neighbours become friends and every day is filled with comfort and care. That's life at Fairview Lifestyle Village in Albany. Our spacious modern apartments offer ease of living right in the heart of the lodge, surrounded by a welcoming community. Come and experience the warmth for yourself.
Visit the open day, Tuesday, September 16th between 12 and 2 at 21 Fairview Avenue, Albany.
Fairview. Now this feels like home.
We all know fathers can develop selective hearing loss over time. But if you've noticed it's more of a constant thing with your dad, maybe it's time to take him along to Audica Hearing Clinic for a free hearing check. To book, call 0800 00 43 42 or visit audica.co.nz. Don't let Dad miss a moment. Help him enjoy better hearing for life with Audica. Free hearing checks for adults over 18 years old, which he probably is.
You built this stylish new kitchen.
We built it together.
We knew what we wanted and went online
to youdoit.co.nz.
7 days later, our high-quality kitchen was sent.
And for a fraction of the price.
Youdoit.co.nz.
Get into a new RAV4 with flexible low weekly payments. T-Season and lending criteria apply. Visit Auckland City Toyota at Grey Lynn, Green Lane or Mount Wellington Superstore.
Auckland City Toyota.co.nz.
The All Blacks' winning record at Eden Park continues.
The All Blacks defend the fortress.
Now they head to Wellington for the second test. Can our men in black send the Springboks packing winless?
Try for the All Blacks.
Listen to Newstalk ZB, 6 p.m. Saturday for live commentary with our voice of rugby, Elliot Smith. All Blacks v South Africa, Test 2.
The All Blacks win.
Live 6 p.m. Saturday with Access Solutions on iHeartRadio and Newstalk ZB, your home of sport.
Newstalk ZB, it is 10:18. I have Antonia Watson, an ANZ CEO, in studio for an hour taking your calls around banking. Steve, you have one on the LVR.
Yes, hello. Hello, ladies. How are you? Hope you're having a great day.
Thank you.
Just regarding the LVR rate. Now, I know that it's affecting me in trying to get refinance for my mortgage, but I'm sure it's affecting a lot of other people. For instance, if you've got a property, I'll just put a number out there for $1 million, and you want to try and get a deposit with an LVR rate of 20%, that's like $200,000 you've got to find. But like Australia have just dropped theirs back down to 5%, and it's $50,000 I've got to find, which is a lot easier for a first home buyer, a lot easier for people like myself who, for no fault of our own, have got a housing market that which is. So I'm now negative equity in my property. It's just stagnating things. And I just wanted to get your opinion on what you think about the LVR rate and how it's holding back, or do you think it's still a good idea, or do you think maybe it's looking at time to easing it or even get rid of it?
Good question. So as a starting point, I think you've nailed one of the issues with housing currently on the head, which is it's not the actual affordability. Now we're getting lower interest rates again. The affordability of the loan often isn't as much of a problem as getting the deposit to get the loan together.
Many people are paying more in rent than they would in a mortgage repayment.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when they go into mortgage, they're often paying off more than they need to. We've got a third of our customers more than 6 months ahead on their mortgages, for example, at the moment. But what the LVRs are, they're what we call a prudential tool. So it's about the safety of the banking system. And if you go back to the 2000s, sort of in the lead up to the global financial crisis, banks were competing on very low LVR loans. We had a crisis. House prices dropped in value. It was tough economic times, and banks made significant losses as a result. And you saw that in New Zealand, but you saw it even more so in places like the US. So the rules come from a very, very sensible place, and they have been eased over time. They're a speed limit, so it doesn't mean you can't have a low deposit. We would very seldomly accept a deposit less than 10% because we want to see a savings history. We want to make sure there's a buffer that you have against your house price dropping. But there are so more so in the 80 to 90% space, we absolutely have what we call a speed limit. So only a certain proportion of our lending can be in that space. And I think on balance, it's a good thing that in a very competitive market, no matter what some studies have said, an incredibly competitive market, that it's good for the banking system that we're not competing on taking out much more risky loans.
So that's protecting your profits, basically, protecting you against loss.
Protecting against loss and protecting our customers against loss as well.
Right, okay. Thank you very much, Steve. We're going to have to take a break. I told you to go quickly. Didn't I tell you to go quickly? We'll be back with your questions in just a moment with Antonia Watson, ANZ CEO. It is 10:21.
Hello, Craig Duffy here. I lead a company called 445. We specialise in fixing leaky homes. If your property is failing due to weather tightness issues, 445 can help. Whether you require a deck rebuild, a house reclad, or a refurbishment prior to selling, we do it all. We'll provide a tailored solution that meets your budget and your needs. Got a leaky home? Visit 445.
Visit 445.co.nz.
Explore Europe with Hello World Travel and Singapore Airlines. Fly economy return from only $2,185 per person. Make holiday memories that last a lifetime with our exclusive deals and savings on accommodation, tours, cruises and more. And all bookings are in to win one of 4 $5,000 travel vouchers so you can upgrade your European holiday. Talk to your local Hello World Travel professional today to plan your 2026 European getaway. T's and C's apply.
Considering a retirement village? There is another option. Kate McLean Home Care brings professional, compassionate care right to your doorstep. Their experienced caregivers help with everything from daily tasks to complex care needs, allowing you to maintain your independence at home. With over 20 years of trusted service across Auckland, they match the perfect caregiver to your specific needs. Find out more, go to katemcleanhomecare.co.nz. Trusted care in the comfort of your home.
This month, Eden Park transforms into the country's biggest art exhibition. Don't miss Art in the Park. Stroll the stadium in a whole new way, surrounded by colour and creativity, including the brand new Somerset Sculpture Walk on the stadium turf. There'll be over 150 artists and more than 3,000 works on display. Discover painters, sculptors and photographers, featuring names like Weston Frizzell, Angela Moritz and Matt Griffin. Art in the Park, Thursday, September 18th to Sunday the 21st. Get your tickets now from Ticketmaster.
Welcome to VetPosts with Dr. Bex.
At VetPost, we're all about making it easier for you to take great care of your pets. So if your pet's on regular medications, get your vet to send the prescription to us at vetpost.co.nz and save up to 50% off with delivery straight to your door. And while you're there, order food, flea treatments, supplements and everything else your pet needs too.
Visit VetPost for affordable vet-recommended products and expert advice from Dr. Bex. vetpost.co.nz.
Take the leap, keep the cash. Save $5,000 across the Leap Motor C10 range, now from just $44,990 plus on-road costs at Armstrong's Leap Motor. Visit Armstrong's, Green Lane or Botany, or search Armstrong's Leap Motor for more.
TVNZ Plus brings you trusted business news from around the world, including 2 24-hour channels, Bloomberg TV for live global market updates.
We've got a lot to digest today.
And Bloomberg Originals.
It will be exciting.
Streaming now on TVNZ Plus.
Auckland, 89.4 FM. Kerre Woodham Mornings. Engaging conversation on Newstalk ZB.
Newstalk ZB, just a quickie, seeing as we were talking about what's happening in Australia. How would you feel about the Reserve Bank pushing out their inflation target, as Barbara Edmonds suggested we should look at, given what's happened in Australia?
I think that when you look at the reaction of people in a cost of living crisis for the first time since really probably, I don't know, the 80s, how frightening that's been for people's pockets.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that having a higher target it's the right time for it.
Thought that too. How closely does ANZ work with the Reserve Bank? Because there's been a lot of criticism of the Reserve Bank from trading banks, hasn't there?
We work with them very closely. I mean, it's a week-to-week relationship with the team that
sounds a bit tarty.
With the team that what we call supervises us. So we make sure that we're keeping them up to date with anything that's happening in our business, all that kind of thing. Day-to-day relationship is excellent. We won't agree on everything every time.
There's been quite firm criticism about bringing those the official cash rate down, hasn't there?
And the capital changes as well, in particular. And our view on that was the capital changes again are about bank safety and prudential regulation.
And nobody wants to see another BNZ.
Absolutely not. So we understand that. What I would love to see is, and I said this at the Select Committee, is I'd love to see our capital calculated exactly the same way as every other country in the world, so you can compare it like for like. But I do think there's a rationale for New Zealand to hold an amount more capital because we are a risky, distant, export-reliant nation with not many people. So there is more risk for New Zealand, I think, than even for Australia. But let's be really transparent about that rather than build in conservatism over conservatism.
Fair point. Bruce, you have a question?
Yeah, g'day Antonio and Kerre, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Listen, I've got a question about capital gains tax, and I've asked a few people and I don't really understand it in the regards that it seems to penalise savers. And what I mean by that is if you and I are on the same wage and you spend your entire wage and I save mine, whether that be put into housing or shares or whatever, then aren't I getting taxed twice on that savings and not being encouraged to save?
So I probably disagree with that, because if you spend it, it's gone. If you save it under a capital gains tax regime, you'd only be paying tax on incremental gains that you had made from the investment increasing in value. So you would still have that increase in value, you'd just get taxed an amount of it. So you'd still have the savings, you'd still have a return on those savings, and the person who'd spent it all would have nothing.
Yes. A texter says, the capital gains tax is not, capital letters, a banking issue. The ANZ CEO is not the person to be discussing this with.
I'd welcome moving on to banking questions.
All right, and immediately.
And as I say, these are my personal views.
And personal views, that's right. But here's a banking one. Kerre, can you ask why they charge a $2.50 fee for withdrawing money from an ANZ ATM?
We don't charge fees from withdrawing from an ANZ ATM.
If you're an ANZ customer?
Definitely not for any customers. We were the first bank to remove the fees from all customers.
Oh, there you go then. So I don't know who's charging you $2.50.
If you want to give your contact details to Kerre's people, I'm happy to follow that up if you like.
My people. Helen is my people. Alan, hello.
Yes, morning ladies. I'll be fast. I'm raising the subject over bank loans to the rural sector principally. Why are you asking them to justify what they're doing to improve the environmental effects on their business and putting a loading on their mortgages when they draw one down, and you do not do it on domestic houses in the urban centre?
So we are not asking our customers to talk about what they're doing. We do have some of those conversations. For example, we've got some agri-green lending loans specifically, but all we ask our farmers is that they obey the law, and some of the laws are environmental in nature, but that's all we're asking in order to give them a loan. We don't put a loading on any loans. We have some discounted lending to encourage people to, for example, put rooftop solar on their farmhouses.
That's something that we've done. Who was going to take you up on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that they're getting better returns.
Yeah, and that's something that we had done for domestic housing customers, and we thought, well, that's only fair that we can provide it for the home of a farmer as well, and so we've extended that lending to our agri customers, but we don't put a loading on any lending. Our lending is purely risk-based and our pricing is risk-based.
Because this was a topic that came up some months ago, but we had a couple of business owners who received letters from their banks asking them to go through a checklist of what they were doing to reduce their carbon footprint, and that if they did not show ways of doing it, then they might have to pay more to secure lending in the future. Is that not your bank?
No, I don't think so, although where that could be coming from, because I know there was a lot of conversation about, say, petrol stations during the banking inquiry, is that we lend based on the risk of the loan and the risk of the counterparty. And one of the things are, if you're in an industry where it looks like you might have lower revenue in the future because, say, you have more electric cars, we would be asking you, well, if we're going to lend you some money over a longer period of time, how are you going to deal into that if your revenue goes down, and will you still be able to pay back our lending? So it's very much risk-based. So potentially those questions could have been from a particular bank trying to judge the risk of, I don't know, or fact-finding for their climate-related disclosures. We have to disclose an enormous amount of what we call our financed emissions.
Yeah.
So we have to disclose our own emissions plus the emissions that we're effectively financing. So if we've lent you for your house, Kerry, we have to estimate the emissions that your house is generating. We have to take the emissions of our staff getting to work. That's what we call stage 3. I think I've got that wrong. Emissions. So it could have been calculating that, because we actually do need to report that as part of our climate-related disclosures.
Well, that could well be it that the other banks are doing too. Like this was one of the ones I can recall, it was a travel company asking how they can reduce their climate footprint.
It's an enormous amount of data that we're needing to collect.
Why do you have to collect it?
Because we need to report it was Scope 3 emissions, not state. We need to report the emissions that we generate ourselves plus the emissions that we're financing, which is called Scope 3 emissions, every year as part of regulation.
Regulations imposed by this government or through its obligations to the Paris Accord, or
I think we were the first country in the world to do compulsory climate-related disclosures. They were brought in. We've reported once now, compulsory. We did a voluntary one the year before. They were brought in maybe 4 years ago or so, and we had time to gather the information.
Right, 0800 80 10 80 is the number to call. Newstalk ZB, it is 28 to 11.
Newstalk ZB Auckland. Time saver traffic.
Heading to Auckland Airport soon. The southern motorway, we've got a moderate patch there, city bound to Ellerslie through to Green Lane. The northwestern and the southwestern are flowing well. The northern northbound, moderate approaching the Harbour Bridge. City bound, a moderate patch at Upper Harbour, again at Esmond. Domestic car parking has changed. Car Park M is now single day only. Plan ahead. Ivanka Zonich for Time Saver Traffic and Travel.
Hi, I'm Mike from Waitemata Back Care Beds, where our 5-day Showtime sale is now on. In this stunning sale, not only do you get 40 to 60% off a great selection of our King Coil back care and premium mattress and base sets, but also you get a free upgrade of deep storage drawers in the bed base, which you would normally pay $750 more for. What an offer! 6 shops Auckland wide. Check us out today.
Waitemata Back Care Beds and Beds.
You know how valuable your staff are. You know that training them makes them feel valued. You just don't know when you'll find the time to do it. So make today the day you connect with Service IQ. Service IQ provides affordable on-the-job training for your employees. Retail, hospitality, tourism, travel, aviation and more. Service IQ comes to you with funding support available too. Make today the day. Grow your people, grow your business. Search Service IQ. Service industry qualifications.
From the first post to the final paver, nail your landscaping project with Placemakers. Swing by your local Placemakers branch to check out their range of decking, fencing, retaining and paving supplies. Plus all the tools and gear you'll need to get the job done right. Too busy to get away from the site? No worries, visit them online at placemakers.co.nz. The place for landscaping. Placemakers. Know how, can do.
Please use your imagination for the following ad.
If I won Powerball, I'd build my dream. Then I'd even things out with a massive donation to...
Imagine winning $6 million this Wednesday. Play in store or online.
Hi, Mike from Waitemata again. Did you hear that before? Pay nothing extra for an upgrade of deep storage drawers in the King Coil bed set that you already got between 40 to 60% off. Check it out today.
Newstalk ZB headlines.
With Blue Bubble taxis, it's no trouble with a blue bubble. Piri School has been included in an extended police cordon as officers continue to investigate in the wake of shooting dead Tom Phillips. The Marakopa fugitive died on Monday morning and his children have been recovered unharmed. New Zealand First Minister Shane Jones wants his party to consider renationalising the gentailers as part of a massive energy market shake-up. He's drafted a memo on the state of the market and potential fixes. Te Pāti Māori MP Takuta Ferris is doubling down on a social media post labelled racist by some Labour MPs. He's posted a video on social media explaining his post, saying Māori seats are for Māori. The Ministerial Advisory Group on Transnational, Serious and Organised Crime is recommending the government gives one minister the responsibility of fighting organised crime. A Central Otago farm, which appeared to have been sold to an Australian mining company, is back on the market. Recession risk rises as gloom about June quarter GDP grows. See this and more from Inside Economics at NZ Herald Premium. Back to Kerre Woodham.
Thank you very much, Malcolm, although I'd have to take umbrage at the idea that the children have been found unharmed. I think incalculable harm has been done to those children, but nonetheless, we're talking to Antonia Watson, the CEO of ANZ. Steve, you have a question for Antonia.
Yes, I do, Antonia. Thanks, Kerry. Look, it sounds like there's a lot of environmental sustainability governance sort of slipping in through various aspects of what's happening in the banking sector. In terms of ANZ KiwiSaver, how much consideration is given to where the money gets invested around companies that are aligned with carbon footprint / sustainability initiatives, or is it purely on the financial return that you're getting for your investors?
A bit of both, because when I talked a bit about risk earlier, risk in if you're investing in, say, a fossil fuel, a large fossil fuel, some kind of company that gets a large proportion of its income from fossil fuel. Have a look with the oil and gas ban in New Zealand. That sort of thing can be changed overnight. So again, we look at it from a risk lens. We're a member of the Responsible Investing Association, I think's the name of it. I could have that slightly wrong. So we do think about, are we investing our customers' money responsibly?
So you wouldn't...
Is there... So obviously the risk profile is understandable, regardless of where the risk, what is, presenting that risk. But personally, with me as an investor with, several $100,000 invested with you, if I want to save the planet, my view is I'll go and pick up rubbish off the beach, which I do.
Good on you.
I'd be more involved. And for me, they need to be kept in their separate box.
Yeah.
And I find it frustrating where you've got an agenda that's not related to finance, dictating what risk definitely is related to finance, but just for the feel-good left-wing factor of trying to save the planet, where not much that we do in New Zealand is going to have much of an impact. Is there any way to opt into a fund that purely takes financial considerations into effect and ignores the other?
So I think it's a very complex topic, which we've got an enormous amount of disclosure about on our website, how we deal with it specifically. But also we need to remember that New Zealand has signed up to the Paris Agreement, so we have got some targets that we've signed up to as a country that I think we all need to be part of.
So if you want to find out more information, you can look at the disclosure statements, because there are...
It's very nuanced. It's our team think very, very hard about this, because we want to maximise the return for our investors without taking undue risk or putting them in a position where we've got something that's really, really beholden to climate change over the years.
There are KiwiSaver funds that focus solely on green investments. They are overtly virtuous, but there aren't any that are overtly get stuffed. I don't care about the planet. I just want to see a return on my investment.
Well, especially when you think about our fund managers also have to do the climate-related disclosures that we have to as a bank.
Which is what Steve was asking, isn't it? Suzanne, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Kerry. I just wanted to ask, when you go into the bank and you ask to withdraw money, I do find it a little bit offensive that they are asking us what we intend to do with that money that we withdraw. I'm like, is that really their business?
So is that to do with anti-money laundering? I think I can answer this one. Is it?
Partly. So if it's over $10,000, it will absolutely be to do with money laundering, because cash is exactly how you launder money or gets used for ill-gotten means. And that's not an aspiration of any individual customers. That is just the rules.
The law.
The other thing, though, at the moment, and it's an absolute scourge, is frauds and scams. So we're just making sure, I suspect, that you are not withdrawing the money for a scamster or a fraudster.
How much money have you been withdrawing, Suzanne?
So we actually purchased a car, and it was $3,000. And the bank was very interested in why we were withdrawing it. And they actually said, well, can't you pay online? And I said, well, I would, but I said the person that we purchased the car off, wanted cash, and surely
It might have been
prerogative.
stolen, Suzanne.
It wasn't stolen.
Okay.
We absolutely did our homework.
Okay, sorry.
And and we actually we still own the car, and it's in our name. Blah, blah,
And
blah.
it's a very fine balance for our staff, Suzanne, because we have we need to be looking for red flags and making sure that our to the extent we can, and it's really hard when people are making choices about what to do with their own money, as you were doing.
Yeah.
But it's so prevalent now that we're walking this very fine line between being too nosy and also protecting our customers.
Yeah. I get that, because if all of a sudden you find you're scammed, they'd come back and say, why did you let me withdraw $10,000, Newstalk ZB, it is 17 to 11.
Redecorators, renovators and landlords, listen up. Carpet Court and Curtain Studios' massive madness sale is here. We've got massive savings on selected carpet, vinyl, hard floor, curtains and blinds. Beat the Christmas rush and save thousands with amazing deals on rhino carpet and hard floor. Plus, there's free making on selected custom curtains, half-price custom blinds and a massive 20 to 60% off ready-made store-wide. But only for September, so hurry in to Carpet Court and Curtain Studio today.
Discover what's behind the curtain with Redgrave's Home Fabrics.
Redgrave's Home Fabrics has actually been around for 67 years. Many of our consultants have been around for more than 40 years. I've been working here for 57 years. We are very lucky to have a passionate team and that have worked with us for a long, long period of time, bringing the finest fabrics to your windows.
Discover the Redgrave's Home Fabrics difference for yourself. Visit redgraves.co.nz.
Hey Dad, how'd your hearing check go?
Henry hasn't been to the vet.
No Dad, your hearing check.
They said there's nothing wrong with my hearing.
Oh, you didn't go, did you?
Don't let Dad miss a moment. Take him along to Autica Hearing Clinic for a free hearing check. To book, call 0800 00 43 42. Enjoy better hearing for life. With Autica, free hearing checks for adults over 18 years old, which he probably is.
This February, one of the greatest shows on earth marches exclusively into Auckland. The Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo, with over 1,000 performers from around the globe. There'll be music, Highland dance, precision drill, and bagpipes. Lots of bagpipes. The Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo, by demand, new show added. February 19th to 21st at Eden Park. Don't miss out. Book now through Ticketek.
Now's the time to say yes to DVS. For a limited time, ventilate 4 or more rooms with a DVS system and you'll get one vent for free. Say yes to DVS. T's and C's apply.
DVS. You win a car, you win a car, you win a car, you win... No, there's 3 prizes. Not everyone wins a car, but you could. Go to oneroof.co.nz right now and enter to win one of 3 2025 Suzuki Fronx SUVs. oneroof.co.nz/win.
On air and streaming everywhere on iHeartRadio. It's Kerre Woodham Mornings with pinnaclelife.co.nz. Easy online life insurance. Newstalk ZB.
Just before we go to Micaiah, a couple of ANZ removed an ATM machine from the local area and it was replaced by All Points, so they charge.
Yes, and they're a private company.
Sorry, Helen didn't have the... Yep.
Oh, and they're a private company who have made that decision. We pay other ATMs when they, for the right for our customers to take their money out of them, so they're just taking another charge to charge the customer as well.
Why are you removing the ATMs?
I'd have to know that specific ATM. Usually it's about the ability to service it, the need in the community, those sorts of things. QMU. I'd have to take that offline.
But there are more and more banks shutting up their services and trying to get everything pushed online, while frauds are going, getting more and more sophisticated.
So we, as an industry, we've made a commitment not to close any regional branches. It goes for at least a couple of years. I can't comment what will happen when that finishes, but I feel as if we've right-sized our branch network in terms of where we're sitting around regional New Zealand. In cities, it's obviously a lot easier to find an ATM or a bank branch, but our customers have voted with their feet. 975 out of 1,000 transactions are online, and 1 is in a branch.
How secure is My Voice Confirms My Identity security system, given the rise of AI and other software being able to mimic one's voice?
That is one of the reasons that we've rolled out. You can now go into your banking app and press the button to call the contact centre, and you'll be verified. It's still very hard to without some really good recordings of someone's voice, it's still very hard to mimic their voice. So we will continue to use voice recordings as sort of a second factor identification. You know how sometimes you do your password and then you get sent a PIN. You might use your voice recording for that. But the number one way I'd tell people to get hold of us is go into the app and press the button that says Call ANZ. You won't have to go through any further security screening because you've already gone through those 2 factors. You've had your phone, you've gone into the app.
Okay. Micaiah, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, ladies. Thank you for taking my call. I just have a question regarding the domestic green loans and why they're not accessible during a new build construction loan. Basically, I'm building a house at the moment. I'd like to put solar on. I can't access that 1% loan until the construction is completed and the loan is then available. And doing it that way, I lose all the efficiencies of installing the solar during the construction phase when I've already got scaffolding up and walls are open and cables and all that sort of thing. So I basically have to future-proof everything and then pay for another round of scaffolding and whatnot once the house is completed. Is there any...
That's a really good question, and look, I'll take that one away. The reason that you can't do that at the moment is that it's a significantly discounted loan. So we're looking to encourage existing customers to top up their existing home loan with that amount. But you raise a good question about build, so let me take that one away.
Okay. Somebody also has a question about they have been struggling paying the mortgage in recent times. Looking to, they get there, but it's been a real push, and they're looking to sell the house and just draw breath and get themselves back on track. Is that going to impact on future lending for them?
No, because I would say that you've very sensibly thinking about what your options are in that case. If you've missed lending, that would impact your credit rating. So that's something. If you've missed payments, that would impact your credit rating, and that's something you could talk to our customer financial wellbeing about. But what I'd be doing if you haven't had a good conversation with your bank, I'd be 100% ringing them, because there might be other options. They might be able to put you on interest only, or something like that, or term out your loan for longer, just to see if there's anything that we can do that doesn't mean you need to sell your house. But other than that, what you are exhibiting is good financial behaviour in my mind. Okay, so we do get chased, but we get there in the end. Yeah. So is that going to mean that there's a poor lending record? If you're making all your payments on time, there's credit bureaus that record people when people have missed payments, and that does impact your credit rating. It doesn't mean you'll never get lending again. Yeah. And so again, that's a conversation with your banker, and it's something I'd be, if you're an ANZ customer, I'd be calling our customer team and they can help you with. Okay. How are the mortgagee sales? Nobody likes those. No, they don't, and they're still very infrequent. We've probably had up to 10 in a month, in the worst month, I think sort of 1 a week at the moment, and that's been from a handful per year, to be honest. So very infrequent, and that's because mostly, like the previous texter, people take their financial situation into account themselves. No one wants the bank to sell their house. Oh. We put a black and white ad in the paper and sort of sell it at whatever price we can get. You're going to do much better by taking your own control, but equally, do make sure you call us if you're under stress, because there are things that we can do around helping your repayments be more manageable. Newstalk ZB, it is 9 to 11.
What to do when your home feels more like a chore than a choice? Welcome to Kensington Park, Orewa's freehold community designed for discerning downsizers. Choose from a range of completed premium apartments or spacious 3-bedroom townhouses. Each home is crafted for convenience, security and low maintenance, and situated just 450 metres to Orewa Beach. Come and view our range of show homes at Parkside Drive, Orewa. Kensington Park, premium living for when you're ready for more of life.
Spring is a season of renewal and the perfect time to plan your next unforgettable journey with Viking. And with our exclusive airfare offers, you can experience the world the Viking way in comfort with more included. Book a river voyage and fly free, or book an ocean or expedition voyage and your companion flies free. Book now to secure your preferred stateroom and departure date. But be quick, these exclusive offers must end December 1st. See your Viking travel advisor today or visit viking.com.
The sun is out, open roads are calling. It's time to sort your RV, whether it's your first RV or your fifth. If you need a new awning or just a tune-up, RV Supercentre is your one-stop RV shop with sales, service and accessories all under one roof. Shop online at rvsupercentre.co.nz or call into 470 Ororangi Road, Auckland. It's a short drive away to expert RV advice. See the good guides at RV Supercentre, where great journeys begin.
Take a break from cooking because now you can jump online and order delicious Heat and Eat meals. The team at Eat create new menus every week. You just order the number of Heat and Eat meals you want by 11 a.m. and they're delivered to your door the next day. With no contracts or subscriptions, everyone's switching to delicious Heat and Eat meals delivered by Eat. See this week's new menu at eat.co.nz. Eat.co.nz.
Tackling a home reno, DIY project or simply shopping for the home? The Northland Home and Lifestyle Show is back this September. There's 120 plus exhibitors to explore with exclusive show-only deals. Plus, seniors get in for just $3 on Gold Card Friday. The Northland Home and Lifestyle Show, powered by One Roof. September 26th to 28th at Mackay Stadium, Whangarei. Book your early bird tickets now and save. Visit homeandlifestyleshow.co.nz.
Be the first in the world to see and sit in IMG's revolutionary new design launching at the Auckland Home Show. Experienced, unmatched Norwegian comfort, innovative ergonomics and refined style. And get exclusive offers during the show. Visit IMG at stand 253.
The Cancer Society Research Centre is dedicated to improving outcomes for the 1 in 3 New Zealanders who will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. A gift in your will can help ensure this vital research can continue. Text LEGACY to 3768.
Newstalk ZB. Mark, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Sorry, I just had a question around how come the process for business owners to go get mortgages and stuff like that is so arduous, right? Like, I have to provide all of the financial information for all of our businesses that we own and like lots and lots of different requirements. But if my employees want to go get another mortgage, they provide free pay slips. So I've paid myself $180,000 for many years, and lots of my employees that have a far lower salary than I do would be able to get through a mortgage process far easier, and they work for me, you know?
I completely understand that question. It is much easier to get a loan if you're a PAYE employee because it is a matter of the pay slips. We've got obligations under
I do pay myself PAYE.
Yeah, I understand that, but I guess they need the banker is making sure that the business is still in good shape to continue to be paying that PAYE, and it's our obligations under responsible lending. But I completely appreciate that it is more complex for small business owners than it is for PAYE employees.
Can you make it easier for people like Mark?
We try to. It's in our interest because we want to lend people to money lend money to people who can pay it back. So we're constantly looking to improve our processes and make it easier. It will get easier over time with open banking. It will allow us to bring in some of that information without you having to provide it for us, for example. So some of those processes will become easier over time.
Have you shopped around, Mark, to have a look at different banks? Has competition helped you there?
All institutions are pretty much the same there. It's been a big frustration, right? Like I feel like the more money I've earned, the harder it is for me to loan money.
Yeah, and it gets, the worst thing is when you've saved all your money for retirement and you have no income, it's really hard to get a credit card.
We've got like a minute and a half. Can Antonia please give a view on when margins will return to long-term averages, asks Ian.
Margins will return to long. So if you think about things like net interest margins and returns, they have banking margins and returns have decreased over time. So our shareholders would be delighted, I guess, if they return to where they were, 10 to 15 years ago. But we're seeing a decline over time. There's fluctuations, year on year, depending on what's happening with interest rates. They tend to expand when interest rates go up, and there's a bit of a lag effect before they get pulled back in again. But over time, our returns have been declining, and that's the overall measure of profitability. And is there a point at which you'd say too much profit is too much when people are struggling? Absolutely, and that's something we look at really hard to make sure that, you know, we've spent a lot of time talking about our profit, whether our profits are fair. They're just above our cost of capital, which is the minimum that the $19 billion of foreign investment we bring into this country would accept to keep investing here. I thank you for your time. We're leaving with Sweet Caroline because it was your Daffodil Day karaoke song. Antonia Watson, ANZ CEO, thank you for your time this morning. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you, and I have.